Rachel, we have you on today, my good friend.
What's up?
Hey. So, okay, you're like a photographer.
Yeah.
What else? Anything? Is that your main thing right now? Is that your dream?
Photography is like the main thing. I like music too, but not doing much with that at the moment.
Yeah. Because we met through music. Is that how you got into photography?
It's not. I got into it because I was like 16 or something like that. Mm-hmm. And my mom, she would take a bunch of pictures all the time. And I was like, that's kind of cool. And so then I convinced her to get me a camera, I'm pretty sure. Or I just used hers or something. And that's how I got into it. But then as I got older, I was like, oh, I like videography too. So I just kind of like stuck with it. And now I like enjoy doing it all the time. But it's definitely not a full-time thing. I wish.
Yeah. We'll make it happen.
Yeah.
It'll happen.
Yeah.
And I feel like you do a lot of really cool, darker vibed photo shoots or videos. Is that
sometimes?
I feel like, is that just naturally your soul? I feel like it comes out that way. You know? Like I see you kind of darker, but in this like fun way. You're not scary, but you just have this.
I really like the moody vibe and like creating emotion through whatever I create. So when it comes to photos, especially like, for instance, concerts, I mean, of course it's like dark in venues all the time, but if you can use like the lighting to kind of create this like cute vibe or like an emotional type vibe, then that's like great, I guess.
Oh yeah. I think that's the best part about art is when you evoke emotion or you do something a little bit out there.
Yeah.
And it inspires people.
Yeah. Yesterday, actually, I was with one of my friends and I was looking at some photos that I took this weekend, and he was looking at one of them and he was like, this picture made me feel something. And no one has ever said that to me. And I was like, oh, it's
really?
like, I'm going to cry.
That's the best compliment as an artist ever.
I know. I was like, I actually might cry. I'm going to think about this forever.
Do you have a dream musician that you would photograph for? Or even a celebrity?
John Summit would be sick.
Oh my
Or like
gosh.
Rufus Du Sol.
Okay, yeah.
Just like that whole thing. Oh, that would be so insane.
Because John Summit's cover art for his latest album was really cool.
Insane. Yeah. Or even like Alinium. He uses a lot of lasers. I think it'd be sick to take pictures of his concerts.
Yeah.
Lots of EDM stuff.
Yeah, for real.
Yeah.
We're going to Fisher soon.
I know.
Would you do Fisher?
I would.
Yeah.
I would. I'm like, I should message him.
You should. Go live in Ibiza. That's what I want to do. My goal is to live in Ibiza and just like manage musicians, artists, influencers, style people for concerts.
Yeah, you should.
It's a 5-year
That would be
plan.
insane.
Yeah.
I've never been yet. I need to go.
The thing about Fisher too is the first time I went to his concert there. Well, I think it was the first time seeing him. It was so dark.
Really?
That I couldn't handle it.
Wait, where did you go?
It was at High Ibiza, the main club there.
Okay. Yeah. See, I've heard of it, but never been.
Yeah. And okay, I was really dumb and I met these guys from the UK. Yeah. And they found some pills, which I love the UK, all their little sayings. So they're like, I'm on holiday. And then they're like, do you have pills? Like instead of drugs.
You're like, what do you mean?
Yeah, literally. I'm like, can you decipher the message for me? And he's going around to like 50 people being like, do you have pills? Do you have pills? I'm like, dude, this is so stupid. Like, just accept that you don't have pills. Yeah. Or like, let it come to you.
Yeah.
Finally, he found some from kind of a sketchy dude. And I was stupid.
That's terrifying.
Yeah. And I was stupid enough to take it. Because I watched him take it. And I was like, if you don't die, I'll take it.
I won't die.
Yeah, that too.
Yeah.
So I took it.
I'm glad you didn't die.
Yeah, right. But I took it and then like it just hit way too hard, way too fast. And on top of the fact that Fisher, his vibe was so dark that night.
Yeah.
I don't know what he was doing.
He's like on one.
Yeah. Maybe it was because it was High Ibiza.
Yeah.
At like 4 a.m.
Yeah. That would make sense.
But yeah, I had to leave. I almost had a panic attack. So hopefully Fisher this time goes better.
Yes. I'm hoping so.
I don't think I'll take drugs.
No, I've never taken drugs, so I can't relate.
I have this little almost mantra where I'm like, I let the drugs come to me. If I need a drug, someone will give it to me.
Oh, you're not scared of that? I would be so scared.
A little bit, but I kind of trust God.
That's fair.
Wait, this leads into religion really nicely.
It does. It does.
Wait, so because I went to church with you the other week.
Yeah.
Have you always been religious?
I've grown up like around Christians. My parents, I wouldn't say they're like religious per se. They believe in like Jesus and everything, but they were much more focused on like relationship with him rather than like being in a church and like going to church. I kind of like grew up around them, and my dad was like really well studied, had a mentor that like taught him a lot about God and stuff.
Do you know much? Or he just kind of told
I
you?
know some. He basically just like met this guy. My dad like had kind of a little bit of a rough childhood, but he met this guy, and this guy kind of like took him like under his wing, I guess. And he was like such a character, but he literally just like taught my dad so much about the Lord and like how he works, and taught him about the Bible. Like my dad is like super duper knowledgeable about like theology and all kinds of stuff. So I grew up around that, and like I wasn't super into God until I was like 16. Just because like I don't know, I just never had like an actual experience with him. So I was kind of thinking, yeah, like he's real, but I don't think he's that great. Just being honest.
Yeah, right. I had so many doubts. I remember in middle school and high school where I'd go to church and I was like, I just don't have proof. It doesn't resonate yet. It doesn't really feel right. Did you have those?
I definitely had those. And then also at the time, like I had a boyfriend at like 16.
Oh, so you didn't care?
I did, but that relationship was just really bad, and so I was just very depressy, and like I had such attitude. I had the worst attitude problem. So my parents would talk to me about God and like try to pray for me, and I was like, can you not? But yeah, then I went on a mission trip to Brazil, which is such a long story. But during the mission trip, I like really saw God show up, and so had my little encounter with Jesus, and then from there it's been great.
Okay, also, side note, do you call God he, or do you kind of think of God as a non-gender?
It's just like Jesus, like he, yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And so did you ask him to show up for you? Or it just happened?
I didn't really ask. Like I went on the trip and I knew what the trip was for, and it was for like healing. So basically what we were doing on the trip was just going around and praying for people to get physically healed. And I did not think it was going to happen. So I was like in this church called Casa do Pai, which is like House of the Father. That's what that means in Portuguese. And there were people praying for this guy or this lady, and she like couldn't lift her arm up very high. And I remember thinking like, there's no way. At least this girl's not going to get healed. That's crazy. And I remember they're like praying over her, and then her arm just like shoots like straight up. Like she literally, she couldn't get it higher than this. And I was shook to say the least. And so she does that, and I was like, and I remember I got like full body chills. I was like, what just happened? That's crazy. So then she got healed, and then someone else came up. They prayed for her. She got healed too. And I was like,
what the heck?
I was like, this is actually insane.
I'm getting chills too. I'm just kind of like, whoa.
Yeah. And so we saw so many miracles. Like somewhere on my phone, there's a picture of this like poster board. We prayed for like 4,000 people, and like so many of them got healed, probably like 3,000 of them.
How many of you were there, do you think, praying?
There was probably like maybe 100 people on the trip. I went 2 years in a row. So I went in 2016 and 2017.
Were they both pretty profound?
Yeah.
Okay.
2017 was definitely like a little bit of a different vibe. I think just based on like the crowd that we had and like everyone's background with the Lord. But in 2016, it was like just what I needed to like get me out of that rut I was in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so much more power with groups of people.
Yeah.
And intention. And then also the thought, okay, were all these people that you were praying for and helping, did they believe in Jesus and God?
Yeah.
In the same religion? Okay, yeah.
Yeah. For the most part, there were some people, like when we would go evangelize and stuff, we'd walk around in the city and like some like more scary sketch parts of Brazil. And I mean, people there were like a little less receptive, but for the most part, everyone was just really, really hungry to like see the Lord do something. Mm-hmm. So
I feel like I've heard so many times that people that actually believe are more often the ones that are healed, but sometimes it's the ones that have the doubt that need to see or experience something too.
Yeah.
But okay, so that's insane.
Yeah.
Do you feel okay? I'm wearing a cross necklace too.
Yeah.
And I feel so much more protected when I wear this. Like I'll wear different crystal necklaces or jewels and things, and they have protection, I feel. But this one, so many people are like, that looks like it fends off vampires or demons.
Like, it's sort of scary things.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I'm like, oh heck yeah.
Like I'm gonna wear this all the time.
Yeah. So do you feel protected?
I mean, yeah. I think that I felt protected like since I was a young girl, just because with the way my parents raised me, like it was very relationship based with God, but it was also like, you know, if you read the Bible, it talks about how we have authority over stuff like that. And so, I mean, we would have like, I've had experiences with things, and just knowing that we have authority like in Jesus' name to like rebuke stuff like that, I've always felt pretty protected about things like that.
Yeah. And that means just saying his name out loud, right? Like, in the name of Jesus Christ, I compel her. What is the word?
Like bind. I guess like bind you, rebuke you.
Can you say cast you off?
Yeah. I mean, like, it's just however you prefer, I guess. I don't think that he's going to be like, she didn't say it right.
I'll try Spanish. See if that feels better.
Oh my gosh. Wait, I have such a crazy story about that.
Oh, yeah? Oh, tell.
There's been so many like interesting things that have happened in just like my walk with the Lord.
Yeah.
But I went to this ministry school called BSSM in Reading. And when I was there, so like, I guess you could say the brand of Christian that I hang around, like Pentecostal, charismatic people, they believe in like speaking in tongues and stuff.
Oh yeah, which I haven't done, but I know people that have.
Yeah.
It's very fascinating. And some people are very like, oh my gosh, I'll never do that again. And then some people love it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so keep going.
I would just hear stories at school about people that would like go on mission trips to other countries and they'd be speaking in tongues and they'd start speaking the like native language. Yeah. And then the people would be like, wait. And they're like, what? And they're like, you're literally saying
oh my gosh,
stuff in our language.
You know what this
The translators are like shook by it.
Okay, this reminds me of the movie Airplane. Have you seen it? It's an older movie from the 80s. And there's this older white lady, and she's next to these two black guys from, I think, Africa, who are speaking some foreign language. Like clicking almost. Or no, it's like jive, I think.
Okay, I don't know.
All of a sudden, she starts speaking to them, and it's like, how does this lady know their language?
Yeah.
You know, it's so random.
Yeah.
It's hilarious in the movie, but was it hilarious for this?
I think it was just
more
like,
like shock.
Really shocking. Okay. Yeah. It's like, that is actually wild.
So how does speaking in tongues get you to that? You're just kind of tapping into something and then you all of a sudden.
Yeah. So speaking in tongues is like basically letting the Holy Spirit like speak through you. So you're basically like praying in a heavenly language that like only the Lord understands, and like you don't understand it, which like the Bible, we could go into it, but the Bible talks about like interpretation of tongues and stuff. But yeah, you're basically just like letting whatever the Holy Spirit wants to pray about, like pray through you essentially. Yeah.
So once you stop speaking in tongues, does that language that you would suddenly pick up, would that go away?
I think so.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. I don't know. I've never experienced it. So I'm just like,
fair.
I don't know. But I heard so many stories about it. It's insane.
Also, this reminds me of when I went to church with you.
Yeah.
Because tell everyone what kind of church.
It's called Legacy Nashville. Shout out to Legacy.
But what is the denomination? Is there one?
I would say it like leans somewhat Pentecostal, non-denominational, like.
Yeah, that's kind of the vibe I got. So
yeah,
that makes sense.
Something like that.
Yeah, I grew up in the Lutheran church. Do you know much about that?
No.
It's more of like chill. Like if you compare it to Catholic has a lot of strict rules. It's kind of just chill.
Oh.
There's so many different.
There's so many different things.
It's insane.
And I'm like, I can't keep up.
Yeah, but yeah. So I showed up, and y'all were doing some super fun singing. Like it felt like I was at a concert for Jesus.
Yeah.
And I kept leaning over to you. I was like, I feel like I'm on Molly right now.
That is literally what you said. And I was like, I'm crying.
Because Molly's the drug of love and just feeling open. And I felt so much love where I just kept wanting to feel that forever.
Yeah.
And I'm almost scared to go back because I'm like, God, I felt scared because I'm like, if I don't feel that again, I'm going to be so sad. But I actually really want to come back.
No, you need to.
Because it was like 45 minutes of that, just singing and dancing.
Yeah.
And then what really surprised me was then you said there was maybe an hour or so after that of the sermon or preaching stuff, which I was like, not today. We'll give it a shot another time. I was like, I think I just got wiped out by this concert.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
But do you get bored sitting through that, or you like actually enjoy it, or it's interesting?
I really enjoy it. Yeah.
Good.
Most of the time, like churches like that are like very spirit filled. Not that the Lord doesn't speak through churches that like aren't spirit filled, I guess. But it's usually like pretty relevant to the body of the church. So like Lyle will be teaching and everyone's like, oh, this relates to my life. Like one of my favorite things about God, I guess, would be that even if there's a message being preached, there will be at least something that's in there for you that speaks to you. He doesn't like miss a thing. So yeah.
Yeah, I feel like the more recent church services I've gone to, which haven't been a ton, but I've just gone to like a few here and there.
Yeah.
There's been definite moments where they were talking about something and I go, oh my gosh, I needed to hear that.
Yeah.
That's literally what I've been struggling with this week.
Yeah.
Or something crazy. So it checks out.
Mm-hmm.
Would you ever get up there and preach?
Oh, goodness.
Is that in your blood?
I don't think that's in my blood. I mean, it could be. I don't know. Sometimes I want to make a TikTok channel and just like talk about like the Bible and stuff. But it's so much effort to like make content. I'm not going to lie.
It is.
Yeah. But I mean, I feel like I could. But just like in this season of my life, I'm like, I don't have time for that. I don't think.
Have you done photography for churches?
I've done it for like worship sessions. Okay. So like I did photography for a thing called Blue Jay House, and that was in Texas. And I just knew the guy that ran it, and I just kind of asked him because I was like, I need to increase my portfolio for like a college thing I was doing, which I always want to increase my portfolio. So
hit her up.
Yeah.
I feel like some musicians kind of bring church into their concerts or music. So
yeah,
it'd be cool to overlap them almost.
Yeah, sometimes you gotta look for it. Like I have a playlist on my Spotify that's like, whoa, this isn't Christian. That's what it's called, and it's just songs that could be Christian songs if you just like listen lyrically and apply it to like the Lord.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. There's a few more churchy songs that I listen to, and I'll play it for my cousins or my brothers, and they're like, Abby, that is so annoying. Or like, it's so cheesy, you know, where you feel like you're at a little kids camp almost.
Yeah.
And when I'm in the mood, I thrive off those songs.
Yeah. What songs? I'm so curious.
I think there's one called Lit a Fire or something about fire. I'll just send it to you. And then also, okay, Griffin, you know him?
Yeah.
I don't know if he's religious, to be honest, but it feels like he brings kind of a churchy vibe into his music.
Yeah.
Where it just feels so uplifting. Yeah. And he takes, even if it's a negative experience, he turns it into a song that's so positive and beautiful. And he takes inspiration, I know, from, is it like indie kind of music? He did a song with Noah Kahn too.
Yeah.
But he's someone where if I made music, I'm like, I could see myself making music like that.
Yeah.
Or the opposite, really dark.
Yeah.
Like what kind of music would you make, do you think?
Oh my gosh, I don't know. I've like tinkered with trying to make my own music a little bit. I tried to make some EDM, but I just like don't know if I'm like built to be a producer. It's a lot of music theory I'd have to learn.
Right. Did you do it on softwares?
Yeah, I did it on Ableton. Yeah. And then I like when I was in college we used Logic, but I don't know. COVID kind of ruined some of that.
Yeah. There's so many different things us creatives dabble and try.
I know. I feel like all the time I have too many interests. I can't just pick one. Then I get hyper fixated on one and I do that one like really hardcore for a little bit and then I'll just like dive into something else. It's hard.
Yeah. My theory with that, because I try to make myself feel better about it, and I say, you know what, they're all connected and they're all gonna like come together one day. It's gonna make so much sense. Because I'm like, why can't I just focus on one thing forever?
Like the bigger picture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like sometimes I go, why am I doing this podcast? This makes no sense.
No, I love it. It's great.
In the end, it's all about the journey too, even if it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, it was fun. And it's like a piece of you that you're putting out into the world.
Okay, should we dive into, wait, I want to talk about cemeteries.
Let's talk about it.
So how do you feel about them?
I mean, I feel kind of indifferent about them.
Have you sat in one before?
Not just like sat, no. I've walked through one, yeah. But I've never just like went and sat in one. I think that I just think about it like death when I'm there and that gives me bad vibes. So I just avoid that.
Fair, yeah. Because I always used to be so scared. And of course in elementary school, our elementary school was across the street from a graveyard. So all the kids would always be talking about it and like, oh, we got to go climb over there during recess, or like all the little stories of, you know, if they did something on the weekend and they saw something. And I was like, crazy. I'm not messing with that. No thanks.
Yeah.
And then my uncle and my cousin, they both work in a cemetery.
Okay.
They're like a funeral home director, and then one does all sorts of stuff with the families and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I think that it's kind of opened my eyes to it in a sense where for example, I went and visited him at the cemetery a few times, and he was like telling me all about the different gravestones and the types of ways that you can bury someone, because there's many different ways.
Oh.
And it's very fascinating.
Wait, that's actually so crazy. I thought they just dug a giant, like 6-foot hole and
I know, right?
just kind of like not tossed you in, but just like lowered you in.
Yeah. No, like you can be buried outside. You can be buried inside. There's somewhere it's almost a little shelf thing.
Whoa.
I don't know if those are cremated too. I'm assuming they are. I don't think they put the bodies in the shelf inside.
I'm crying. I don't know.
I need to have him on this.
Yeah, so you can talk about it.
We did have one crazy experience. Well, it's a 2-part story. One, his coworker, she was putting, I think, engraving a name onto one of the, I forget the name, but it's inside in this beautiful room, and there's multiple different
like
avenues.
A tomb?
Kind of, but
Tomb,
it's like a building.
It is.
A tomb. I think it's a tomb. But when I think of a tomb, I think of the mummies in Egypt.
Yeah.
And it doesn't
like
feel
the pyramids.
Like yeah, no.
Oh my gosh, we could go into the subject of the pyramids too.
Yeah, we need to. Okay, so she's engraving this name, and she has to go into this lever device that brings her up because it's pretty high, close to the ceiling. It's probably like 20 feet off the ground. And so she's up there, and I think all of a sudden it's something like it just kept moving upwards, and she couldn't stop it. The buttons weren't working, and she felt some kind of ghost or spirit or something messing with her and pushing her up. And the thing that saved her was her water bottle was for some reason on this edge of the lever, and it hit the ceiling and stopped it. Otherwise she would have been
like
squished. Yeah. And the other interesting thing is in that hallway is this artist. His name is Tiny Tim. Have you heard of him?
No.
Google him after this.
Okay.
Wonky dude. Really dark. Like, I think he had long black hair. Looks kind of creepy.
Okay.
Weird dude. He had some interesting songs as well. And so it was next to his little grave tomb thing.
Yeah.
And so she was like, was that Tiny Tim messing with me? Anyways, fast forward a few months, I'm there with my cousin in that space. And I'm taking photos of everything because it's so beautiful. And I went to take a photo down this hallway. And I heard this spirit go, do not take photos down here. I was like, what the fuck? Who's talking?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. And so then I started trying to talk over there, and I was like putting the pieces together. And I think it was this one spirit that was really jealous of Tiny Tim because he would get visitors all the time.
Tiny
fans. Yeah. And he was like, pay attention to me. And he was just like a cranky old dude that got jealous. So he tried to basically kill that girl, and then he didn't want to take photos. I don't know.
Oh my gosh.
It's all theories, but
see, that's where you're like, I rebuke you. There you go.
Okay, so yeah, what would you say in that instance?
I'd be like, yeah, sure, bro. And I do it anyways. Right? Be like, I rebuke you in the name of Jesus. Bye.
So literally that's what you say. I rebuke you in the name of Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm going to do that next time.
Do it. It works. I promise.
Thank you. Because that's what a big part of this is. When I can talk to things on the other side, I'm always like, how do I control it in the sense of my safety?
Yeah.
My boundaries? Like, you can't mess with me.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah.
Okay.
All the authority.
Yeah, it's believing in my power too.
Yeah.
Or the power that runs through me.
Yeah.
Okay, the other thing I'll say about cemeteries, my friend loves them, and she goes and finds recipes written on gravestones and has a list of them in her phone and tries to make them.
Gravestone recipes.
Yeah.
I've never heard of people leaving recipes on a gravestone.
Me neither, but she said it's a thing.
She's just like traipsing through there like, does this one have a recipe? And then she finds one and she's like, yay.
Literally.
I'm making this for dinner.
If you think about how like, kind of creepy it is, but I honestly love it.
It is kind of creepy, but like I guess their legacy of creating great food is living on through her.
Exactly.
It's kind of beautiful in like a weird way.
Yeah, because people that die, no one remembers them unless you carry on some tradition or have a photo or have the memory.
Yeah.
Because they say a person no longer exists when no one remembers them.
Wait, that's actually so deep.
Isn't it?
I don't need to think about that. That's scary.
It was a kid's movie too. In one of those animated movies.
What kids movie was that? Because I'm not going to watch it.
Watched it on an airplane. I don't know. It was about this kid in Mexico. And it was like Dia de los Muertos.
Okay.
And all of that.
Yeah.
And they would put photos of ancestors on the altar.
Yeah.
And then, you know, the kid didn't care. But then all of a sudden he was like, oh, wait. They don't exist if I don't continue to remember them.
Dang.
So, yeah.
I'll have like an existential thing going on.
Yeah. How would you want to be remembered? Would you have a recipe?
No, I suck at cooking. I genuinely suck at cooking. Like, it's so bad. Actually, I don't think that it's that I'm bad at cooking. I think it's just that I don't like doing it.
Yeah,
so I don't want to like
same.
put my heart and soul into it. I just like will make something and I'm like, this is fine.
Right.
Doesn't need to be like Michelin style, you know?
I approach cooking as a lazy girl that's got better things to do.
Exactly. Like, I'd rather not. Trader Joe's is my best friend.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm also like, I need to find a husband that will just cook because I ain't about it.
Yeah. Or you make enough money so you can hire a personal chef.
Okay. Yeah.
That's my goal.
Yeah.
Because right now, you probably saw on Instagram, I'm like sick of food right now. Nothing sounds appealing.
Yeah, I did see that.
And I'm so confused by it. But
like literally nothing sounds appealing, not even like drinks or anything.
No. I open the fridge, nothing. I walk down the street and look in cafes and things, nothing. So today I'm fasting, which I don't like to do, but it's actually really easy today because I don't want any food. Have you ever fasted?
Yes.
Isn't it hard?
It's so hard.
Yeah. It's normally so hard and today it's so easy. So that's why I'm like,
I mean, go you. Yeah, if it's easy. I wish I had that problem.
Well, I think there's something going on in my body. It needs healing. It needs Jesus, probably. Okay, which also gets into getting triggered in cancel culture.
Oh my gosh, okay.
Because I sent you that message about it was a friend from New York that I haven't talked to in a long time, but I said something about wanting a feeding tube in my body.
Yeah.
And he was like, oh my gosh, Abby, think about all the kids
that's
that are
like
on
really
feeding
insensitive.
tubes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's not a thing you should say. So I understand, but like, okay, can I just say that's what I feel like?
I feel like society as a whole just is so offendable. And I feel like just offense in general is like a really big issue. I feel like so many people would get along so much better. Like we'd have such a better sense of like community and wholeness as a society if we weren't so like, oh my gosh, well they said this one thing and like I'm done with them.
Yeah.
I think that just cancel culture in general is just a graceless. It's like a graceless standard of living. It's like, okay, I love this person so much. And then they say one thing that's wrong and there's no room for grace or being like, let's have a conversation about why that, hurt me. Instead, it's like, I'm just never going to talk to you again. Mm-hmm. Like, I'll unfollow you and we will never speak again. Like, I think that is just so sad. I'm like, you build good relationships with people and like you've been friends with people for years. And then there's one thing that they say or a mistake that they make. And you're just like, yeah, it didn't really mean anything to me.
Because people have so much behind them or in their past or in their head, in their world that we don't know about.
Yeah.
And they can do stuff that has a whole other story to it. And if you sat and listened to it.
I also just feel like we can learn from like the things that we mess up on and like clean up messes that we make. So.
Yeah. I think I've had a lot of past relationships where either I or the other person would just leave after the first sign of something wrong. And now I'm learning how to actually work through things with people and be like, oh, I don't love this about them, but like maybe I can approach it and say something. Or maybe I'm seeing something differently and they're not actually like that.
And I think it's hard. I also think a lot of people, especially nowadays, like just don't have the emotional intelligence or availability to have like conversations sometimes. I think especially in dating, like people they want someone who's perfect. Like they don't want to have to work through anything. And it's like, as soon as you show like one little sign of not being perfect, it's like, actually, like I'm good. And they just detach.
It's literally me sometimes.
No.
That's
actually, so rough.
But I've been learning from it.
Yeah. I'm proud of you.
So much better.
I'm really proud of you.
And I think that's
it's hard.
It's a reflection of how I see or treat myself.
Well, yeah. I mean, even I'm guilty of it. Like I've been in relationships and like the guy will do something and I'm like no.
Yeah. Or girls talk all the time about getting the ick with things. Oh my gosh,
and I'm like, the ick.
I'm like, okay. Somebody once said too, they go, if you're getting the ick, it's actually just a trauma response. And they go, work through it, sit with it. As long as it's not harmful.
There's only been like one time that I've gotten the ick and I literally could not get over it.
See, that's a problem probably.
Yeah. And I was like, I think this is actually just like a check in like how I feel and I need to like dip.
Yeah.
But yeah. Honestly, I say that I have the ick more as like a joke nowadays. When I was younger, I'd be like, I had the ick and I was just like, I can't get over it. I have a really funny one.
Yeah, you go and I'll think about it.
okay, if he's playing like pong, is that what it's
pong?
called? Ping pong?
Ping
Yeah.
pong? Yeah.
He's playing ping pong and the ball like bounces off the table and he has to chase it.
Shut up.
But he like reaches for it and he misses.
Yeah.
And then he's just like running.
Oh my gosh, that's actually really good because anyone looks terribly unathletic and weird when they're chasing a
Exactly.
ping pong ball.
Yeah.
So what's the solution? Just don't play ping pong.
I just don't watch.
Yeah.
I've
Close
like
your eyes.
played beer pong with guys in the past and like they'll try to catch the ball and they like severely miss and I'm like,
Oh yeah.
I can't look.
Memory erase. Back up.
Did you come up with one?
Well, all I can think of is if they're driving and they're trying to act really cool.
Like the
I've had
reverse
guys
thing
where
and they're
like
like,
lean back and they're
oh
like, trying
no,
to smoke a cig or like
not the
I
cig.
don't know, just if somebody's hyper acting cool, overcompensating. I'm like,
Yeah, I think that's a good ick. Like that's a genuine ick.
Yeah.
You're welcome. I'm validating your icks.
Be yourself.
Yeah.
That's because that's what I'm looking for.
Authenticity.
Be themselves.
Yeah.
Because if I struggle to be myself sometimes and I'm still trying to, I need someone that can guide me and help me on this path. Be my support. Which also brings me to the thought, I think sometimes people have such, I don't know, cancel culture and get triggered so easily because they don't have a sense of humor or they're so serious. Because I've been stuck in those phases where I get so serious about everything.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, slap you in the face, loosen up a little bit,
Yeah.
have a laugh.
Yeah. I also feel like sometimes people just go through things and they get like really bound in how they feel. And then it becomes offense to them. So then everything is just really offensive when actually they're just really like unhappy in general.
And they're trying to bring everyone else kind of down with them.
Yeah.
Or looking for love or attention, but they don't know how. So that's how they do it.
Yeah. And it's rough because it's like, if you just need attention or you need like help, you could just say that. But that's also really hard. Lots of emotional availability for that one.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Do you see people online much where you go, I don't like what they're doing, but we're going to stick around and find out. Okay, so for example, in situations where everyone's canceling, what do you do? Or have you done in the past? Do you like to just kind of read everything? And
I love reading comments.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it depends on like what it is. If it's something like super duper serious, like jail time or something, I'm probably gonna just not give that my attention. But if it's something where they like said the wrong word or like they did something that was just like insensitive to like a certain group of people, I'm probably gonna like kind of analyze what it is, look at how their character has been displayed in the past, and then go from there. Because it's like if every other time they have been a good person and there's this one time that they like messed up, I'm not going to be like, oh, bye. But I mean, if it's constantly on display, like they have bad character, then it's like, I just don't really want to give my time and attention to that. It's bad vibes.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's so many things that have blown up. Like, what is it? Zach Bryan and Brianna Chicken Fry.
I can't stand Zach Bryan in general.
Yeah. And then every time those things happen, though, I try to see from their perspective. At first, like I hated Zach Bryan and I blocked him on Spotify.
I blocked him a long time ago anyways.
LOL. Yeah. But then eventually I came around and I was like, you know what? Maybe he has some serious abuse and trauma from childhood. Maybe he's just needing some love.
Yeah.
And then I was like, I'll give him a try. We'll see what happens. And then I was kind of hating Brianna for a bit for some things. I think you could just go through the whole human emotion spectrum of let's hate everyone and then love them and then hate them again.
Yeah. I think being like empathetic is great and like trying to understand people is really good. But also like these people need to work on themselves. Like clearly he has some sort of issue. He needs a therapist, some sort of intervention.
Some people though, therapy doesn't even work for them.
Like narcissistic people, they go to therapy. Like if you are dating a narcissist, you go to couples therapy, like they will use everything that you're vulnerable about against you. Sometimes therapists don't even realize either. That's what's really scary.
Have you experienced that or you? No.
I've experienced dating a lot of men that have tendencies of narcissism. So it's like, I've done a lot of research on it.
Yeah.
Very interesting and also terrifying.
Yeah. So the opposite of the narcissism is the codependency, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Because I have like some crazy codependency that I've had to work through. So I've definitely had the more narcissist vibes.
Yeah, like avoidant men.
Yeah. Or I felt like I just kept dating guys that cared so much about money or the girls' looks, like they had to have the perfect looking girl next to them.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what they did, who they were. They just had to look amazing. And then they had to have all the money. Just like everything looks great on the surface. And then behind the scenes, you're like, you're a cokehead that's depressed and doesn't show his emotions. And
that's what's really crazy about them is like they have this grandiose sense of self when in reality they're deeply, deeply insecure and they don't know what to do about it.
Yeah. And they avoid everything by working.
Like, you're so sad. It's
drinking.
Really.
But those relationships woke me up because I was like, oh, I'm kind of doing this to myself in a way too. It's just in the opposite way. And so then I was like, yeah, I got to work on me. So I stop attracting this because I don't like that. Done. You get into cycles where you're like, this is kind of fun and addicting. And I love that you hate me. I love that you're bad. And I love that you do this.
It's all about the thrill, you know?
Yeah.
But you're like, actually, this is so bad for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. But at least you're like self-aware. And you're like, actually, why is this happening?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It's like the Taylor Swift song. I'm the problem.
Yeah.
Well, we're all the problem. Everyone's got issues.
Yep.
That's what my mom always reminds me of, which I love.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It is a good reminder because it's like I can't expect perfection from everyone.
Mm-hmm. Do you ever watch South Park?
No. I think I've seen like 2 episodes.
Okay. It's the best way to just like not be offended and learn how to chill.
Yeah. I'm surprised that shows like that like exist still like in how society is today.
Mm-hmm. Thank goodness they do. Do you ever watch silly movies?
Like what?
I watched The Other Guys last night with Will Ferrell and Mark Wahlberg.
Ugh, Mark Wahlberg is so pretty. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, because I was actually going to psychosis last night where have you ever gone into psychosis?
No.
It's this state where I struggle to discern between reality and non-reality.
Okay.
And I get a little paranoid and I don't know what's going on. I feel very ungrounded.
Yeah.
I know when I'm about to enter into that. So I felt it and I was like, oh no. And so I went outside and sat and I like called my mom for a bit. It wasn't really working. And then I was like, you know what? I'm going to watch a Will Ferrell movie.
Yeah.
Because they're so stupid and silly. I think it'll
work. Yeah.
Just chill out this serious overthinking. And it did.
Good. I'm also thinking about another movie and it has Ryan Gosling in it.
Oh yeah.
And I think he's like an investigator or something. It's on Netflix. I can't remember what it's called.
Is it new?
It's not new. It's like 2019 or something. I don't know. Anything with Ryan Gosling, I'm going to watch it.
Should we talk about spicy stuff?
Yeah. Let's talk about spicy things.
Politics.
Yeah. Let's do it. Channel our Candace Owens.
Oh my gosh, yeah. So
I love her.
Who's your favorite politician or person that's in politics?
Oh, goodness. Let me think. I really like Candace. She's not a politician, but I love her.
Yeah.
She's like the only person stuck in my brain right now.
I know.
I like the sassiness of JD Vance. Like, I think he's really funny. There's so many memes about him right now, and I just think they're hilarious. Like, Twitter is a crazy place.
It really is. Imagine if you had that. Your face plastered on all sorts of memes.
Can't imagine. I think I would die.
You grow tough skin.
Yeah, for sure.
Internet.
I was literally talking to someone yesterday about this. I was like, I can't imagine being famous on social media and just having people constantly like hating on everything that I do. I think I would just not look at it. I would just like post and then delete the app. Or maybe not post at all. I'd just like go MIA.
For real. Because I did an influencer project in college and I got really sick after it. And then right now I'm doing influencer stuff because I'm trying to get better at content creation and getting to know it and stuff. And I have to take so many breaks because it just wears you out.
Yeah.
I'll get so depressed and anxious.
It's a lot.
Mm-hmm.
It's fun when it's done. You get the little like dopamine rush. Like, yay, I did this.
Yeah. Honestly, though, Candace Owens is a good person to channel because she's so headstrong and fierce. I think it's people like that. And even though, okay, for a while I hated AOC, but now I'm warming up to her because I'm starting to see a different side. But I think those two women are so like fierce and boss that they don't seem as if things get to them as easily. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sometimes like I don't really like AOC. I'm going to preface with that.
Yeah,
but
fair.
Sometimes I think she's just trolling like on purpose because it gets her name like in headlines. She will say some stuff and I'm like, there's no way she actually believes what she's saying.
Yeah. So to preface, like I did not agree with a lot of things for a long time. Somebody recently was like, why do you hate AOC? I said, I don't know. She's so angry and annoying and says the most crazy, outrageous things. Mm-hmm. And he goes, if she was a man, would you feel that way? And I was like, I don't think that totally relates.
You're like, what? But
I don't understand exactly the question, but honestly, probably, yeah, I think I would still feel that way. And he was like, well, as a woman, do you feel strongly about emotions and almost having that be more of a mainstream thing and letting women express themselves in a free way? He's like, she's kind of paving the way for that in a way, because even though she's going to the extreme, she's still making space for other people. And I was like, okay, I kind of respect that then. Because like I'm such an emotional person that I'm trying to let them out more and be more expressive without it seeming so crazy. And so if you compare me to AOC, I seem so chill and normal.
Yeah.
So that's why she's growing on me, because she makes me feel less crazy.
Would you say those are like your two?
No.
Okay. What's your answer then?
I kind of like Megyn Kelly.
I like her too.
Because
she's spicy.
Yeah, because she's also got that headstrong, but I like her because she's gone between different networks. Also like Tulsi Gabbard. Anyone that has gone to a different side politically or has stated they believe something that goes against the political party they associate with, I respect the heck out of that.
Honestly, yeah, same. People like generalize political parties anyways. They're like, if you're on this side, you're all of these things. You definitely believe these things. And it's like, no, I think that I can agree with more of what one side says, but also like have some beliefs that the other side has as well. Mm-hmm. Like, I wouldn't even say that I'm like super conservative. I'd say I'm like libertarian. Oh, I definitely like think that people should be able to do what they want to do, and like the government should keep their hands off. But
I'm in the same boat.
That is my opinion. Mm-hmm. Like, you make decisions, like there's of course consequences for all of your decisions.
Did you grow up in a conservative home or viewing things more conservatively, leaning that way?
Yeah, more like leaning that way. My parents were still very much like, you're allowed to have your own opinions and like your own beliefs, and like if you believe that way, like, not that they're not going to challenge it, because like me and my dad will get in good conversations about things, but I'm fully allowed to like come up with my own interpretation of things and have my own opinion, and it's like celebrated. It's not like that's wrong, which I hope everyone has that. Like, that would be so great if everyone could have that.
It's so important.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah. Because people get so offended because they attach their belief system or their opinion on something with who they are. Mm-hmm. So if somebody contradicts it, it feels as if it's
like an attack on their identity.
Exactly.
Yeah, and it's like, it's actually not that deep.
Because I had a history teacher, so smart. He told us in high school, he goes, if anybody ever tells you your political opinion is wrong, they don't know politics, because literally the essence of politics is debating different sides and having the spectrum of views. Mm-hmm. Do you think you have one category of politics that you view as more important? For example, you could go into economics, environment, what do they call those? Social
justice.
Yeah. Because my mom will always say like fiscally conservative, socially liberal. And of course, then you could go into environment, so many things. So.
Yeah, I haven't thought about it in that way specifically, really in depth. Mm-hmm. So I probably wouldn't have a good answer for it. But I definitely think there's like certain issues where I'm like, oh, I'm definitely more like on this side than I am on that side. And then on this issue, I'm more on this side than that side. Yeah. Oh, I just thought of another person that I really like that's in politics, the new press secretary.
Oh, the K name.
I forget her name.
Kathleen Christie.
Yeah. I liked the old press secretary that Trump had too, but this one is just like more spicy.
Yeah.
I love all these spicy women. Like, go off.
And when they know what they're talking about and are actually speaking facts.
Very like intelligent, well-read, well-studied.
Uh-huh. And I can just appreciate someone that's literally my age doing what she's doing. It's so inspiring.
Yeah.
I can't imagine myself standing there and doing that right now.
I know. And also just having like the wit to like say something really quickly in response to things, especially accusations and stuff. I'd
be like, give me a bathroom break, 1 minute.
1 second. I got to go like contemplate what I'm going to say back.
Yeah, that too.
I need to think about my response. Crazy enough, a few months ago, I was like thinking I wanted to go to law school. So I like took the LSAT and stuff.
No way.
Yeah. And like
Elle Woods.
I know, right? And I was doing all the studying for it, and I was like, my gosh, this is a lot. Just the way that people, like lawyers, think about questions and how they interact with people, it like makes you think different.
Really?
It's really interesting, yeah.
Do you think there's a fake LSAT I could take online?
Yeah. Okay. I could send you one.
Okay, wait, send me one.
Okay. Yeah. There's this thing called Law Hub, and like they have old LSATs on there, and you can like take them for free. If you're not like needing to study for them, like you can buy other ones on there. But
did they talk about different stances on things like abortion laws and that? Or, do you think that changed your view at all? Because I have a friend that goes to Georgetown Law and she's studying.
Yeah.
And she said that actually changed some of her perspectives on abortion,
Mm-hmm.
just studying all the laws and the histories and every nuance about it.
They didn't talk really about issues like that. There was nothing super specific.
Mm-hmm.
Like all the questions on the test are like logical reasoning. So they're asking you like, there's this variable and there's this variable. What does that mean? Pick the best answer. What's really hard about it is some of the answers, it's like it could be this one or that one, and you have to pick the best one.
No way.
And that's what makes it really, really hard.
My nightmare with test taking.
Yeah. And then like the second or one of the other sections of the test is passages. So you read the passage and it's either like two people making separate arguments, or it's this entire argument. You have to find like the conclusion of all of it, which like that part's a little bit easier to me because I like reading and like understanding passages. But the like reasoning stuff, which they also used to have logic games on the test too, and they took that out this year.
Really?
Yeah, which is like, oh yeah, it's awful. I'm so glad they took that off.
This is wild.
Yeah, but that is like person B has 5 coins and person C has 6, and then this person has less than that person and this person has more. How much does this person have? Oh yeah, it's very confusing.
Sounds like a math equation.
It sounds like math. Yeah.
Okay.
It's basically math, but with
All right.
words and letters. And I mean, you have to be like really smart to figure that stuff out, because I did take one practice test that had some on there and I was like, absolutely not. Makes my brain hurt. And also it's all timed, so like if you don't answer all the questions in the time frame, then
You're kind of convincing me not to do that.
I think I've convinced myself that I don't want to do it again.
Yeah.
After I took it, I was like, this is so hard.
Yeah. Isn't Kim K doing that right now?
I think she finished.
Oh,
Or
did
is she in
pass?
school?
Yeah. I don't know.
I don't know. Do you know Megan Thee Stallion is a lawyer?
No?
What a freaking queen. Yeah.
I love hearing about this stuff.
One of her songs, she's like, something, something, people are mad at Megan. They're just mad at Megan's law. When she said that, I was like, oh, slay. Slay, that is iconic.
It's so good. Yeah, I think there's more women, I mean, probably been for a while, but more women nowadays that feel like they're just bossing it up.
Yeah.
So inspiring.
As we should.
Yeah. So I love Paris Hilton. She does everything and anything.
Honestly, she does. Didn't she just get some law changed about something?
Mm-hmm.
What was
she was
it?
abused as a child in school.
Yeah.
And so it was something to protect, I think, kids at
Is it like boarding
school, I
schools?
think. Yeah.
There's also that thing where it's like if your kids are bad, you like send them to like a camp and they're like secluded in the wilderness.
Good Lord.
Have you never heard of those?
No.
Gosh, you need to look that up. There's like all kinds of stories and documentaries about it. But like people would have their kids and then their kids would like rebel against them. And then they'd ship them off to these like camps basically. And the kids are there for like months or sometimes like years, I think. And they are just, it's just not a good experience. It's really bad.
Yeah, because I could see that going really well or really bad.
Yeah. It's like not,
Interesting.
most of the time I don't think it's been a positive experience, but
Yeah, because for Paris too, I think I watched a documentary on it. She was basically forced into solitary confinement in a room by herself.
yeah, that's like how it is. Yeah, and you have to do like chores and like work.
And she vowed when she was in there that she would be so rich that she'd never have to, take orders or experience that abuse ever again. So her workaholism is almost, it's actually a trauma response. But good for her for all the stuff she's accomplished and done. And she just goes out and DJs. And
What a queen.
I saw this video of her, and I think it was a Gucci store or something, and she had probably 15 bags that she was buying, and I bet it was for all of her friends or people she knows. Maybe it was just for her. Either way, I was like, okay, yeah.
Go off, I guess. Yeah, I mean, when you're that rich, it's like whatever.
What would you do if you were rich?
Oh my gosh, it's such a good question. First off, I'd buy a new car because I just want a new car in general.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be like a McLaren, although I'd love one of those someday.
See, like a sports car vibe?
I love sports cars. I think I
Fast.
need one. Yeah. Either that or I'd get a Porsche SUV. But other than that, I would invest a bunch of my money in a bunch of really random things, like have a really diverse portfolio.
Heck yeah. I would invest into all of my business ideas that I have. I have this notes app.
Honestly, yes. Yeah. And then I've always wanted to have like my own, I don't know if I like want it to be a record label anymore, but more just this place where like it's for artist development and just like developing artists.
Really?
Like musicians. Yeah.
How would it be different?
I think a lot of money can be made in sync music, which everyone
Sync
knows that
music?
sync. Yeah. So it's like for movies and commercials and like,
Oh.
yeah.
Okay.
So a lot of musicians nowadays will like, they'll have their own music and stuff, but they'll like go write in movies and commercials or for other artists. And you can make a bag off of that. And I'm like, okay, say that. So like I worked a little bit in Christian music. it's very much in a box. There's a lot of Christian artists that are like, I don't want to be in the box of like CCM, is what you'd call it, like Christian contemporary music.
Okay.
And so my thoughts would be like, okay, let's get you writing in sync. Then you don't have to have a record deal at a CCM label where you're like put in a box creatively. You can fund all of your music, or we can fund all of your music through the sync music that you're making. So like you're writing all this stuff for movies, making millions for movies, but we're also promoting your music via the money that you made from writing for movies, if that makes sense.
That's genius. I never would have thought of any of that because I don't know about that world. So this is suited for you.
Yeah, I guess it'd be more of like a publishing type company. And so like artists will get publishing deals and then they'll start writing in sync. So you just like write a bunch of music, especially like around here, it's a lot of country music. You're writing for like Morgan Wallen or whoever else. You make a lot of money if you get a cut from one of those.
Right.
Yeah. And then you can make whatever sounding Christian music you want. You can make EDM Christian music if you wanted, and you don't have to rely on making money from the radio.
This is a freedom method, allowing artists to actually create and be free.
Yeah. That's one thing that I like. I've always wanted to do A&R, and that's like artist and repertoire or whatever. But it's like finding artists for a label, helping them develop, and then signing them and like helping them with their whole career. What I like about secular music is like, of course, sometimes a label will try to like market them one way or another, but generally you have the freedom to like have your own sound. And I'm like, artists should be able to make their art, and it should be a reflection of them and their values and their creativity, and no one else should tell them what to do.
Mm-hmm. I think for some people it works to have a specific sound. Some people know them and then they branch out.
Yeah.
Whereas other people, okay, for example, Fred again, I think he's so good at, he's just got this funky vibe, and whether he makes slow songs, hype songs, or in between, you know it's him.
Yeah. I think that's what's great about some artists is like, and that's also what A&R people look for when they want to sign people is like, do they have their own sound? Like if we were playing this song, say it's a country artist, we're playing this song up against a song by Morgan Wallen, for example, because everyone knows Morgan Wallen. Can I tell that they're their own artist? They have their own sound. They sound different than everything else that's being played at the moment.
And if they have their own look on the stage, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because Lainey Wilson, she has her
little bell bottoms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dolly, of course, huge tits and just like crazy makeup and everything.
Yeah. I think another good example is Jessie Murph.
Yeah.
I personally don't like her voice, but it is so different, and you know it's her when she starts singing.
Does she have the song Texas?
I have no idea.
Okay.
One of my friends really loves her, and I just don't prefer her voice.
If it's what I'm thinking of, that seems like a girl that would be your vibe, but I keep thinking what my look would be. What would yours?
Oh goodness, if I was an artist.
Yeah.
That's such a great question.
Because they always say too, your hairstyle can be important if you have a unique hairstyle.
Mm-hmm. I think if I was gonna write music and like do the whole artist thing, I'd probably want to do EDM. But I'd probably want to intertwine like faith into that, which I think a lot of EDM does that, and people just like don't realize. Mm-hmm. Especially like Rufus Du Sol. They have that song On My Knees. He's talking about praying.
I did not realize that. What the heck?
Yeah. He's like going through it, and he's like, looks like I'm on my knees again.
See, that could be interpreted as a sex song.
It could. Depends on the way you think about it.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay. Sadly, we got to wrap, but also we have to go to Rufus.
Yes.
Coming here. There's so many.
Wait, I have
many
tickets
EDM
to it, but
coming.
I like have to be in Austin.
Oh shit.
But I'm still gonna go. I'm gonna like fly back early.
Yeah.
Not missing that.
Yeah. It'll be good.
Yeah.
All right. Thanks, girl, for coming on.
Of course.
So fun.
This was so fun. Yay.
Yay.